Brenna Ortiz reclined on her bed, blowing smoke out the window and listening to the storm. Raindrops clung to the screen grate, quivering, before freckling her pillowcase and forehead. A big one, the weatherman had said that morning. They were always predicting the next big one. Part of living somewhere like Mercer, Illinois, with all those graves marked October 7th, 1961. But there hadn't been another big one. Not really. A few wall clouds, some funnels, but nothing touched down. No fields of bodies and mangled cars. Not since that day. It thundered, and Brenna ashed the cigarette. They were the brand Colin smoked, the kind you roll between your fingers to crush the menthol crystal. Colin was her person. But Colin didn't seem to feel the same way about Brenna. "I like you, sure," he'd said, right before summer ended, "but this isn't going anywhere." It didn't matter that they'd dated for a year. He was heading off to college in the Quad Cities, and she was only a rising junior in high school. He wanted to be with someone who was in the same life stage as him. In fact, he'd admitted he'd already met someone in the same life stage. That phrase wasn't just about age, Brenna knew. There was something coded there, something that leaked from beneath. Earlier that day, at school, someone had written, "Brenna Ortiz equals slut," on the bathroom door. Brenna's best friend, Amy, had written, "Bitches be jealous," beneath, because she liked to clap back. But Brenna knew it wouldn't make a difference. She'd been called that name since she broke up with her first boyfriend in 7th grade. It didn't matter what she'd done or hadn't done with him. Brenna Ortiz would always equal slut, dirty, illegal, lazy, wetback. Just like her mom. It pained Brenna to wear these labels, words affixed to her by people who couldn't look beneath her skin and didn't know the first thing about who she really was. With Colin, though, people had looked at Brenna differently, especially her teachers. Dating Colin had made people look at her like there was something to her, something that had attracted the sharp, witty, worldly Colin, something that might get her out of Mercer, or even the Midwest. But without Colin, Brenna was back to being the poor girl who lived in the bright yellow shotgun house by the cemetery. The mediocre student, the daughter of the Ortiz family's black sheep, the half-Mexican who hung out with the goths because her hair was nearly black to begin with, and the white face powder was thick enough to make her blend in. The slut, the dirty, the never good enough. Almost in agreement, the tornado siren whined, crescendoing. Brenna's house didn't have a basement. At school, they'd practiced lining up in hallways, noses to knees, hands clasped behind heads. You had to find interior walls. You had to duck and cover. It could be the big one. The music her older brother Manny was playing thumped in the living room without pause. Through the vent, she could smell cheap weed and a pizza he was baking, clearly convinced he'd live long enough to eat it. Her phone buzzed and her heart quickened. Pavlovian. But it was her mother. It hadn't been from Colin for a month now. "Tornado warning. Bring your mattress to the bathtub. Colin over? Manny home? You guys okay?" Brenna flinched. She still hadn't told her mother about the breakup. Not that she'd had many opportunities. Her mom worked nights at the gas station by the library and was asleep when Brenna woke for school. But shame kept her silent, too. Colin had finally realized what everyone else already thought. She was beneath him. Brenna rolled her head back on the pillow and looked out the window. The sky resembled Mercer's canal, oily black, with swirls of scum and sediment.